welcome to another inspiring episode of BB Uncovered right here at the Movement Studio. My name is Oluwatosin Ojebisi. On today's episode, I sit with a founder of a leading marketing and advertising publication in Nigeria and also a convener of various influential marketing conferences and award ceremonies, Mr. John Ajayi. Thank you for joining us today, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Tosin. Very delighted to be here.
All right, sir. So let's dive in, right? This podcast would be, looking at Dr. Biodun Shobanjo's life, right? He'll be turning 80 soon. And so we just want you to share, a bit that you've known about him over the years. So going straight into it, we would like you to share your BB story. How did you first encounter BB?
Fantastic question, I must say. First of all, permit me to quote two famous authors in talking about the personality and persona of Dr. Biodun Shobanjo. The one and only person I like to refer to as the father of modern advertising in Africa. Indeed, in my 35 years of journalism practice, and specifically 25 years of which is into primary brand journalism, I have known BB to be an enigma. And two famous authors come to mind readily when I look at this personality. One of them is Charles Caleb Colton, 1780 to 1832, an English cleric who was known for his eccentricities at his time, but very, very famous, passionate in his works. In one of his many quotes, he said, "In life, we shall find many men that are great and some that are good. But in very few men, we find those that are both good and great." Another famous writer, a Swiss writer, Frederick, who was also known to be a very great philosopher of his age. He said, "Great men are the real men, for in them nature has truly succeeded." Having quoted these two famous authors, I have seen the practical life experimentation and observation relationship with BB to be in sync and in symphony with these two great authors. He is one of very few great men that are both good and great. And of course, BB is a shining example of a great man that's the real man, for in whom nature has truly succeeded. This he has done by dint of hard work, transparency, honesty, professionalism, and passion. And of course, let me say, in the life of the 21-year life history of Marketing Edge publications, Dr. Biodun Shobanjo is one Nigerian advertising impresario that has graced the cover of our magazine on 3 major occasions. And of course, let me also tell you, as a brand journalist and as a writer, talking and writing about BB occurs to me naturally, like poetry. You know, he is always a journalist delight. Each encounter with him always leaves you with something to ponder about.
Mm.
You know, and let me also tell you, this man that has become a very, very great friend, big uncle, a father, a mentor, a role model, and of course, an exemplar in all aspects and ramifications, happened to be someone that I got to know and got close to after so many battles in my early years in journalism. I was not too close to BB. I was writing for This Day newspaper publications where we pioneered brand and advertising reporting. And being a journalist that is always nosing around for news, I was always looking for news that make headlines. Like the cliche in journalism, most times it is not all the good news. That is bad news is good news in journalism.
Yeah.
And of course, I used to hear one very common name then, popular, and so Faisal, and that name was PB.
Was that the first time? Was that the first time you met him?
No, I have not. I met him when he was president of the then Association of Advertising Practitioners Association of Advertising Practitioners of Nigeria, AAPN.
Okay.
But beyond that, I used to go after what we call industry news, and I stumble on a lot of gists and jests and some, critical appraisals and commentaries about him.
So before we go into
into
the story, back down story lane memory lane, can you share the circumstance around how you met him? I mean, just so that we have a deep understanding.
The circumstance around which I met him was when he was to hand over the baton of leadership as president of AAPA then, Advertising Association Practitioners of Nigeria. That was to be done at Ijebu-Ode. Okay. And his agency then was headquartered at Onitiri, Surulere. And the bus was organized for few of us, selected journalists, to join the bus. I mean, Insight was in Onitiri, Surulere, the bus to Abeokuta. Then we got to Abeokuta, I got to know him. Quintessentially cute, professional, with his trademark bow tie that have verve and gusto.
Yeah.
He's an embodiment of professionalism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, as a leading marketing communications magazine, right, that you founded, can you share some insight into BB's impact in the advertising industry?
That is a book story. The BB impact in the Nigeria advertising industry is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's highly phenomenal. And not just Nigeria advertising, I think it's all encompassing. I would describe it as its impact in the Nigeria integrated marketing communications. Yeah. Because BB is like a rover whose footprints are on all parts. In the early days, I think I won't be wrong to describe him as the leading second generation advertising practitioner in Nigeria. The first generation pioneers were the late I.S. Moemeke of blessed memory, founder and owner of the then Leo Linters, and of course, Otuba Banjo Sholarus, and of course, late Kenny, Prince Kenny Adeosun. And of course, you now have, and, quote unquote, a rebel with a cause in person of Biodun Shobanjo.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, sir, I would like to ask, because the advertising industry, marketing and advertising industry, has seen several changes over the years, right? How did BB adapt to these changes in the industry, such as technological advancement, shift in consumer behavior, and all of that?
Dr. Olushina Biodun Shobanjo is one person that is even you can describe as always a learner. He is an embodiment of knowledge. He's easy to learn, unlearn, relearn, and adapt. And in fact, he's an innovator, he's a pace setter, he's a pathfinder. Like I wanted to say that in those days, most of the specialization areas in the integrated marketing communications as we presently know them used to be warehoused under one roof. I mean, you talk about the creative advertising, you talk about out-of-home advertising, you talk about media buying, you talk about brand inspiration, talk about PR, and you talk about digital. But as specialization began to emerge and evolve at global level, BB was the first person to branch into these different subsidiary arms, these different specialization areas, establishing full service shops with landmark achievements.
Right. Yeah. Speaking about his achievements, and we know that he's very committed to service, can you discuss some or let us know or share some of his commitment to the industry and service, and how it has spurred the growth and development within the industry?
His commitment to the industry is immeasurable. Hugely immeasurable. Because having pioneered Insight with a strong 18-man team, he has been able to build Insight, now Insight Redefini, into the modern school of advertising in the whole of Africa. Right. He's been the leader of leaders. He has groomed leaders. He has groomed outstanding professionals. He's an icon that has produced so many icons. And he is a man that is quite, it's of gentleman, easygoing, but hugely knowledgeable. You see, let me tell you, I've learned a lot from him.
Please tell us.
I once asked him why in those days, because before we became friends, because I used to write criticism, I used to be very critical about him, about maybe when they said insights and outcome rules and all that.
Yeah.
And that, he has some of his contemporaries
Mm-hmm.
that they were maybe jealous, envious of his achievements, his business strategy, and his modus operandi. And we always write that, okay, Akon assertion so for so, I will write. One day, I remember it was when Nitas was celebrating 70th anniversary at then National Theatre. I walked up to BB for a one-on-one interview, thinking that he will grant me. You know what he said? He said, John Ajayi, move away from me or I move for you like a caterpillar.
Wow.
I was scared. I ran. It was later I got to know from one of his boys, one of his devotees, who happened to be my friend.
Okay.
Then a client service executive director at Insight, my friend, Chief Shudio Dwayne, who told me that BB was always reading everything I write about him in this day.
Wow.
That he has file for all my write-ups.
Wow.
But he never took offense. But an opportunity now came for me to now get close to him when this icon of our time was to celebrate 70th birthday. Myself and my group, the marketing edge, we decided to do a customized cake and do an interview and put him on the cover to celebrate him. I didn't tell him what we were coming to do. I just sought his permission for an interview for a cover. He gladly obliged. I went there with a team of about 15 of my men. He laughed when he saw us. He ushered us in to his very expansive office. And interestingly, BB himself, a quintessential PR personality, recalled my exuberant days at this day.
Yeah.
And he now told my team, he said, look, gentlemen, this young man there that you see, that John Ajayi, will think that I hate him, that he's not my friend. But he's actually my friend. But John, I'm telling you today that I don't hate you. You are my very good friend. But you are just doing your job then.
Of course.
But some of those stories were not true about me. But it's okay. Some people have different perspectives about me that I don't care. And that's okay, sir. One of those things is about sometimes you operate outside conventions, you break rules. He said, yes, that is exactly him. He said, I don't believe in conventions. I don't believe in rules. Not that I'm disobedient, but I believe in innovation. I believe in setting pace. I believe in creativity. I was very astounded. And since then, we became friends.
Amazing.
And of course, I started asking him questions. And he said, John, one of the things that I used to tell my team is to become number one. It is never a birthright. And for you to be a market leader, you must be constantly paranoid. The word is paranoid.
Yeah, and only the paranoid survive.
And till tomorrow, I've adopted that work mantra.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very profound, I must say.
Yeah.
So now, as we wrap up, let's just quickly touch on his legacy. So how will BB's legacy continue to influence the marketing and advertising industry in the years to come?
His legacy it's already impacting on the industry, even as we speak, because an average Nigerian advertising person wants to be like BB.
Of course.
They want to see if they can match up to the standard he has set up. They can only, we pray, we see who will come and beat his record. It's very challenging to say,
yes.
because the institutions, the establishments that he has bequeathed to the industry, they remain iconoclasts. Yeah, they remain iconoclasts. They remain pace setters.
Absolutely.
They remain front players. So you can only try. If it is not Panadol, it will never be Panadol. BB is a class on his own.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for sharing your experience. It's been wonderful to have you here, and just to hear you talk about BB and your experience, over the years with him. It's amazing. So, quickly, we would like you to just wish him a happy birthday. Say some thoughtful words to him.
Indeed, it is the Lord's doing, superbly marvelous in our eyes. I wish this grandmaster of Africa advertising, the godfather of modern Africa advertising, very many happy returns of the day. Wish him greater greatness as he goes into the later years. I pray the good Lord will never allow him to know a better yesterday. He will continue to work stronger. We need him. No event is complete in the Nigerian advertising industry without seeing the face of BB. And he keeps the time ever punctual. And he represents more or less different generations. It's many generations in one generation. I won't lie to you. It's very rare to find a human being that has become so phenomenal that even no matter what may be your learning, when you get to him, you know you've seen somebody. And he's always a solutions provider. He's been my benefactor. He's become my major source. And in everything, he has always honored me with his esteemed presence in most of my activities and projects. But he said, John, leave me, I'm getting tired. I said, sir, we'll continue to celebrate you. I pray that we shall continue to have cause to celebrate this icon. Amen. And God will grant him peace, joy, happiness in his old age, as he continues to age gracefully. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Something I skipped, I would like you to quickly do. 3 words. I know you have lots of words to describe BB, but just limit it to 3 for the sake of this part of the segment of the show.
Yeah.
Just 3 words to describe him.
He's an advertising colossus, a humanist, and passionate professional.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. John Ajayi. It's been a pleasure to have you here with us, and we hope, to see you sometime soon, in the future. Thank you, sir.
A pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of BB Uncovered. I've been your host, Oluwatosin Ojebisi.